Okay, we'll move on to the next question. Lieutenant Governor, you'll begin with the answer. Achievement scores in South Dakota are high and have been holding steady for several years, but we do have an urgent need to help struggling students. As governor, how would you provide leadership that supports schools in their efforts to reach and teach students who are having a difficult time learning basic subjects?
I think our education system in the elementary grades is served best by small class sizes. I went to a small one-room country school, grades 1 through 7, and then when the country school was closed, it was consolidated into the Del Rapids School District, and I attended Del Rapids High School and graduated from there. This is a difficult question to answer. I do believe that local school districts have the most important role in managing the achievement of their students. I think the role of the state is to provide resources within its ability to do so, provide guidance, but not drive down too many burdens upon local school districts, and allow local school districts to address the issues that they confront in a class-by-class and student-by-student basis. I know our daughter Sarah, for example, when she was in a class, her class was full of high achievers. And the culture of that class was such that the teachers provided opportunities and the students achieved. It was a culture of achievement. In another class that my son was a part of, he left and moved to a different classroom because the students in that classroom were not interested in learning as much as he. So I think it's local school boards that should have the opportunity and the authority to make decisions about addressing the needs of an individual student.
All right, very good. Same question to you, Senator. How would you provide leadership that supports schools in an effort to reach and teach students who are having a difficult time learning basic subjects?
The very first way I do it is to use the bully pulpit of the governor's office and show leadership. Leadership is understanding what you believe in and making it very clear to the state of South Dakota and the states around you what you care most about. All you have to do is read the Constitution of South Dakota to understand the founders of this state were obsessed with education, with the job that you all do. That's what they cared most about, preparing future generations of South Dakotans. And that's what we have to be about. It is interesting to hear the Lieutenant Governor extol the virtue of small classroom sizes and then talk about why we aren't going to accept 500 new teachers in South Dakota. Those two positions are absolutely inconsistent. I will tell you personally that one time Susie and I went to Longfellow Elementary here in Sioux Falls. Our son Pete was in class. I will never forget, that poor teacher had 31 kids in that class. I have never been more sympathetic for a professional in my life than to have 31 of those kids. Susie and I ended up volunteering in that classroom to try to help out as much as we could. But that's exactly the situation that we have to stop. The only way you do that is resources. That's what we need in the state of South Dakota. And the only way to get resources, the state is not in the mood for an increase in taxes. We need to make that very clear, is to change priorities. Remember the arrows. We've got to take the arrow of education investment and turn it up, and the arrow of building the state bureaucracy and turning it down and moving those dollars over.
Okay, very good. We do have some time for rebuttal if you would like.
Well, I think it's interesting that Senator Heidepriem talks again and again about reducing the size of state government. In his earlier remarks in other forums, he's been quick to point out the growth of the FTE count in South Dakota. And I think it's important to recognize that the growth of full-time equivalent employees at the state level have been primarily in education, in this case higher education. 65% of the FTE growth has occurred in higher education. 8% were existing positions. 7% or 6% are found at the home stake lab, and that's a research and essentially an education effort. So if Senator Heidepriem is focused on cutting the size of state government, he's apparently choosing to make those cuts in higher education.
All right, we'll continue with rebuttal. Senator.
Actually, Lieutenant Governor Daugaard knows better than that, and we've made it very clear. The positions that are federally funded and a part of higher education will not be touched as a part of our reduction. Again, Senator Dave Knutson and I reached an agreement. about a fundamental way to reduce the size of government, and it was the FTE count. That does not include K through 12. That does not include teachers in South Dakota. It does include folks in Pierre who work in various departments and agencies. We can do a better job in terms of providing services to the people of South Dakota in many of those offices, and I'm committed to doing it. On 2 previous occasions, I know that we've made across-the-board cuts in South Dakota in the bureaucracy, and it has worked well to free up dollars to carry out more essential purposes. What more essential purposes? Adequately funding K through 12 education and investing in the children and the future of South Dakota.